Right then, welcome back to the channel. My name is Stephen Howson, and it is the penultimate Premier League game of the season. I don't care where we finish anymore, and I don't even think we're going to see any youngsters. But I actually think there's something tactically interesting to go through in this game, and I'll tell you exactly what that is going to be in due course. Now, let's talk a little bit about Brighton at first, shall we? I think it's only fair considering that's who we're playing. What are they like, Steve? Well, Potter was getting all the praise earlier in the season, wasn't he? And they rightly deserved it. Over the last 18 months or so, he's done pretty incredible things with a very, very ordinary side. Massively punched above their weight. Probably established them as a Premier League club now. I reckon you take a few years at this level, you look to establish yourself, and then you can maybe try and build on that to try and aim for European stuff and things like that. But, you know, they're enjoying a pretty good season. They're in the top half of the table. Definitely an established Premier League team. And that, you got to give them credit for. They've won 3 out of their last 5. We won 2-0 comfortably in a previous fixture. They play a 3-4-2-1 formation. How'd you beat them? You got to press them. They are possession-based. They like a bit of a ball-dictating style. That's why there's 7 players in that first 2 lines. But even though there's 7 players in those first 2 lines, and at times it can be a back 5, they actually are vulnerable to the counter. Why are they vulnerable to a counter? They want to play high. Playing high leaves you vulnerable to the counter. It's just a fact of modern football. If you're going to do that, there's reasons to do that, valid reasons to try and play football in the opposition half. But if you do that, you've got to be aware of the weaknesses inherent in that system. They play out. That's an opportunity for United to press and to try and win the ball back high. Most of their chances that they have conceded comes from that because they're not dealing with elite world-class players in their playing out. So they make mistakes occasionally. When they make mistakes, they fudge the ball, they fudge a pass, they play a riskier ball than they really should have done, and they give the ball up in that area. So they do give you a bit of a chance. The wing-backs, 2 great wing-backs, they often get caught upfield, which means that someone can get an overload in behind them, and that's something that I think United should look to utilise. They have numbers in midfield. United are going to need numbers in midfield to compete. Basuma runs the game. If he runs the game tomorrow, we lose. Or tonight, actually. I think I'm putting this out on the day of the game. The midfield area is going to be vital. It's one of their strongest areas on the pitch. Wepu's becoming a bit of a force for them in midfield, and whoever plays 10 for us probably needs to go and drop a little bit deeper to put numbers in there, is what I would normally say. However, against Brentford, I thought United, under the radar, when you look at the average position of the players, reintroduced the 4-2-2, which Ralph seemingly wanted to play in his first few weeks at United and then abandoned it. And I think 4-2-2 is the way for United to go again. You have to be good defensively on the inside channels. Trossard is one of the most dynamic and creative forces, and he does a lot of damage on the inside channels. Yes, they've got wing-backs, and yes, they're going to have to be dealt with. But coming back on the inside is where United have been pretty weak this season. Playing a narrower formation in the 4-2-2, or certainly narrower in the core, allows you to be a bit stronger through the centre of the pitch because of the sort of centralised nature of all of the players. So I'm going to line us up in a 4-2-2. And there's not a lot of surprises here. I think with the Youth Cup final being this week, you're not going to see Garnacho. You'd have seen him already. You might see him next week for the Palace game after that's all done and dusted, hopefully with a winner's medal in his back pocket. But I think the team picks itself more or less. Juan Mata's absolutely back in. You fucking better believe he is. Jesus Christ. David De Gea in net. Dalot and Tellers at fullback, Lindelof and Varane centre-half. Matic and McTominay at 6. Mata and Bruno as your creative outlets in the 8. Ronaldo and Alanga up front. That's pretty much the only fit first-team players. So there's your team. And if we can replicate the sort of performance we had against Brentford, I'll be delighted. That was one of the best games that I've seen from United, possibly this season. I don't know if I'm just projecting that because of how shit it's been in the last couple of months, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed watching that. So if we can go in and put a performance like that against Brighton, I'll be pretty happy. Let me know your score predictions in the comments. Did you notice the 4-2-2? Because I didn't notice it at the time. I had to go and look back at some of the analysis afterwards, and then I was like, oh, hang on. If we can initiate some of the 1-2 play that we saw against Brentford, I think we'll be all right. And a clean sheet wouldn't be bad either. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think. Give us your score predictions and all that good stuff. And I'll catch you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.